All right, we're recording. Who are we talking to today?
My name is Kurt Williamson. I've been in Fairhope for about 50 years.
What's your wife's name?
My wife is named Louise Creamer.
Where's she from?
She's from Fairhope here.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother graduated from Fairhope High School in 1924.
What's her father's name?
Her father's name was Clarence Lafitte Creamer.
Are they still here?
They are deceased.
They're buried in the Colony Cemetery?
No, they're at Fairhope Memorial Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
The family was the Gilmore family. My wife's mother's family was Gilmore family.
Yeah.
And
I've interviewed some Gilmores.
Down the street down here where Greer's is, that was the old Gilmore place where they put up those two new big buildings there. They built them on, as my wife says, Granny and Papa's lot.
Was that across the street from Greer's?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the west side of the road from Greer's. That was my wife's old home place. And
that's interesting.
they had a whole bunch of girls and one son.
Mm-hmm. You came from Loxley?
I moved here from Loxley.
What was your parents' name?
My folks was Kurt and Maven Williamson. Grew up about halfway between Loxley and Silver Hill. And my brothers and I were speaking Czech before we were speaking English growing up in that area.
Why is that?
Most of the folks in that general area there were from Czechoslovakia.
Name me some of the family surnames.
Peacher, the Peacher family, the Sons, S-O-N-S, Sons.
Resners?
Resner.
Kahodics?
Yakohotek.
Stanicheks?
I don't know Stanichek, but that's where I grew up.
What made you move to Fairhope?
Got married.
That'll do it. And where'd you work after you got married?
Got married. I went to work for Gaston Motor Company, almost next door, and worked there for 26 years.
Well, tell me about working at Gaston Motor Company.
Had a great time. We had a great bunch of people work there. If Jim Gaston was one of the most honest, upstanding people I ever knew, if Jim decided he owed you $1, he'd chase you all over town to give it to you.
What was Jim's wife's name?
Jim's wife was Louise, which was Barry Gaston's mom.
Where did Louise and Jim live?
They lived up on Valana. Then later on in years, they built a house down on, what's the boulevard street down the street down here?
Fairwood?
Fairwood.
Tell me some other people that worked there at Gaston Motor Company.
Okay, there was John Fleming worked there.
He sold cars, didn't he?
He was the sales manager.
Tall, skinny man, wasn't he?
Tall, thin guy.
Yeah.
Dick Turner worked there prior to me going there. Dick Turner was there before I went there. But
who's some of the people worked in the shop? Some of the mechanics.
Winston Jones worked in the shop. A guy named Jasper Quinley worked in the shop. A reasonably young guy from Silver Hill named Charlie Shore. Another fellow who worked there was Keys Mitchell. Keys worked for me there, and sometime you'll have to sit Keys down and ask him about his experiences over at Gaston Motor Company. We used to be working in there, and we'd find that the sulfur smell would come through the shop. Berglund had an ice plant almost where we are right now, and every once in a while this sulfur dioxide would spring a leak, and they'd have to clear everybody out of the shop back there because of the sulfur smell that would come through the shop. They used the sulfur for a refrigerant, but they made big 1,000-pound chunks of ice back here when Berglund had the ice and creamery is what it was.
Did you ever eat their ice cream?
Absolutely.
What was the name of that ice cream?
Azalea brand ice cream.
That good stuff?
That was good stuff. And Junior Berglund and I become long fast friends in later years.
Who's the junior? Is that Levine?
That's Levine.
You remember Marvin?
Yes, I remember his dad, Marvin.
Mm-hmm.
His brother, was it his brother or his
That's
dad?
his brother, I think.
His brother.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Marvin was in the plane crash?
What year do you think that was?
Oh, that had to be in the late 70s.
Yeah, I think
He was returning to Fairhope from Atlanta, and the plane, it was a commercial plane, went down.
Mm-hmm.
But
tell me about living in Fairhope. What have you enjoyed about living in Fairhope?
everything.
Uh-huh. Tell me something. Tell me something that you've enjoyed about Fairhope.
The bay. My 4 sons. We lived 2 blocks from the bay, and I would get off work at 5 o'clock in the evening. We would hook up our ski boat and we'd go water skiing till it was completely dark.
Mm-hmm.
And we would water ski, and then we'd go home and we'd eat a bite, and then get ready for the next day to do the same thing over again. But just we've got the bay. That's what else can you say?
That's what everybody says.
We've got the bay.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell me today?
That's all I can think of.
All right. I enjoyed talking to you.
And you too.
Mm-hmm. Hello. Today we're talking to Susie Bradford Lowry. Is that right?
Correct.
And you tell me you were born in Fairhope.
Correct.
Okay. Well, tell me about your family, your mother and your father.
I was the only child of John Thomas Bradford. He was called Tappy, and Estelle Bradford. And I grew up, the only home I ever knew was on the corner of 13 School Street and Magnolia Avenue. My daddy owned most of that block where the new library is.
Is that house still standing?
No, it was torn down some years back. It is not, but there's nothing there where the house itself was.
What? Everybody remembers that block. I remember that block as having what on it?
Well, we had many, many flowers, but primarily it was, my mother got in the amaryllis business. And
What year would that be?
well, I think she bought some of her first amaryllis bulbs from Mr. Alexander, who was principal at the organic school, and he also had an amaryllis farm out on Gaper Extended, where that would be now. And she enjoyed them, and she cross-pollinated them, and the next thing she knew, they were prolific.
What did you say? I'm backing up. What did you say your mother's name was?
Estelle Bradford.
And what was her maiden name?
McCoy, Estelle McCoy.
Where did she come from?
She grew up in Atmore, Alabama. And
Your father, he had done several things. I see. He in early years, he what was one of his first jobs in early years?
well, he owned a sawmill, a portable sawmill that he had out on Fish River, different branches, Turkey Branch and Waterhole, and this was before the Depression, and he and Mother lived out there in a little house that they could put on the back of the truck and move from one place to the next. When the Depression hit, he was unable to sell the lumber that he was, and most of it was virgin timber that he was cutting. He was unable to sell it, and he had to walk off and come into Fairhope hoping to get a job, and he had to leave all the board feet, I don't know how many thousand board feet he left there to rot, and had to say goodbye to the oxen who had been faithful friends.
And you told me that he did what? He came into town and built a what?
Well, he came into town, had no job. My mother got a job working for Pittman's Dry Goods and clerking there. And my father couldn't find work, so he caught crabs off the pier and sold them for a nickel apiece. And then he did whatever he could. He opened a miniature golf course there on Phelps Avenue, on the lower part of Phelps Avenue, going down toward the bay. And this was during the Depression, and it became kind of a meeting grounds for people to come there at night and play miniature golf. It was a novelty, and certainly the first one around here.
Tell me about Edith Harwell. What do you remember about Edith Harwell?
I remember going down there with my mother. I lived just a few blocks from where Edith's kills were, and Mother and I would walk down there and visit her. They were friends, and Mother wanted me to see the way way she threw pots, her process, her clay, and I just remember her as a very kind, sweet, gentle woman.
Do you remember Converse?
Yes, I do.
What would you have to say about him?
Well, I do remember, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I will, I do remember that the Bell Courier ran an article on him. He had gone down to the Gulf and joined a nudist colony, and he wrote about his experiences down there, which was very enlightening to all of us.
I'm shocked, absolutely shocked. No, I'm not. Tell me about, let's see, you remember a Mr. Welburn or Welford? What did you say his name was?
Weldon.
Weldon,
George
yes.
Weldon is I'm pretty sure the way you would pronounce his name. He was an old man to me. I had no idea. I was a child, and I lived on School Street, as I've said, and he lived a couple of blocks to the north of me on the edge of the gully in a very primitive kind of a home with no indoor facilities. He had gophers in the front of his yard that he kept there, and the neighborhood children, I included, would go there and enjoy his gophers and talk with him. I remember a big wad of aluminum foil he had that he collected during the war.
And string?
And string as well.
And you said he wore what kind of hat?
There was lore that he was an engineer, or he'd come off the railroads. He just showed up in Fairhope. I don't think anybody knew much about George. He never wore shoes. He was always barefooted, winter, summer, and he wore overalls, railroad overalls with the blue and white stripes like Dickies, and he wore a railroad engineer's cap. You could see George every afternoon sitting by the Fairhope Courier. There was a bench in front of that, and a lot of men would sit there and talk, and it was a meeting place for them, and George would always be there.
You said you graduated from Fairhope High School. What year was that?
I graduated in 1956.
In your elementary school years, what school did you go in your elementary school?
I went to the what's now the kindergarten. It's on Church Street. I started school there at first grade and went through the 9th grade. And then in my 10th grade, they built the new school, which is up on Section Street, North Section Street. And I went there the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, graduated from there.
Well, Susie, I'm coming to the end of this, and tell me what you remember about growing up in Fairhope. What were you very fond of?
The bay, the beach. I loved it, and I loved Christmas Eve. I'd go uptown with my daddy, and we knew everybody in town, and he would say Christmas gift to everybody, and it was just a small town and small atmosphere, and we loved each other.
I'm sure you're going to think of a dozen things you wish you would include on this tape, because that's the way it works. You're going to think of all these stories I wish I could tell. But I've enjoyed talking to you today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes, who are we interviewing today?
Helen Weeks Nichols.
Mm-hmm. Where did you grow up at?
Grew up right down on Twin Beach Road.
Uh-huh. What was your parents' name?
Albert and Estella Weeks.
They lived here also?
They live here too.
Uh-huh.
Until they passed away. My grandfather lived right down the street. He used to be owned by slave owners.
What was his name?
Mike Houston.
Mike Houston, yes. Everybody kind of knows him.
I got pictures of him, and the slave owners got these two, his wife and him together. One that owned his wife was from Mississippi, the owner. The owner that owned my grandfather was from Alabama. So the two got together. I got the little invitations to their wedding. They had a wedding for them. And they even built a house for them. They had a 2-story house right down the street from me where they put them in and they raised their children.
Do you remember them?
I remember my grandfather.
You don't remember your grandmother?
My grandmother died before
Uh-huh.
I was born.
Uh-huh.
My mother was their first child,
Tell me what year you were born in.
1919.
My mother was born in 1919.
Oh, she was?
You are
She's
90, you're 91?
I'm not, I will be 91 in
Yeah.
June.
Uh-huh. Tell me about when, as a child in Fairhope or around this area. Tell us about growing up here.
Well, growing up, we had helped my mother put up preserves, and we had we had pear trees on the street. We had to pick pears, and we had to go picking berries, and so all of this that they and the neighbors, all the ladies in the neighborhood made jelly, and they made wine for the Christmas time.
What kind of wine?
Blackberry and blueberries.
Did you ever cook with elderberries?
I never did, but I guess she had. I don't know too much.
Did y'all raise livestock? Did you have animals? Chickens, ducks?
Cows, chickens, hogs, pigs, turkeys, geese, ducks, everything but a guinea. My dad didn't want no guineas, but my grandfather had guineas.
I've got guineas.
You got guineas?
Yeah.
They're so noisy.
They're noisy and they're pushy and they're mean to the chickens, but I like
They
them.
are.
I like them.
And animal he didn't like.
Did you grow a garden?
Yeah.
What would you grow in the garden?
Potatoes, onions, and carrots, and peas. He even planted rice one year, but they said the rice birds got into it. So he just did that one year. And me and my sister did the plowing, because he took my brothers with him on the ice truck.
Was that with a mule?
Mule and wagon.
Where'd you go to school at?
Anna-Teaching School. You know where the dump is now?
How many?
Little yellow school.
You went there all the grades.
It went to the 8th grade. When you finished the 8th grade, you had to go to Baldwin County Training School.
Did you go to Baldwin County Training School in high
I went
school?
1 year
Mm-hmm.
there. But being a Catholic, the bishop had told parents they couldn't have the communion unless they had at least one child going to Catholic school. So that
Really?
meant I had to go. I was the only one able to go. So I had to go to Mobile and Rick. My parents weren't able to do that. But in order for them to get the communion, I had to go over there and stay. And I went to school at Heart Mary School, Catholic school. I finished school in 1938. I graduated from high school there.
You had mentioned the bay boats a while ago. Tell me a bit about the bay boats.
The Bay Boat.
Yeah,
Coming in on the eastern shore and the Bay Queen. Well, early in the morning we would get dressed and get in the mule and wagon, or either when he had his truck, his little T-Model Ford, we went down in T-Model Ford and he parked it. And we got on walked down and got on the boat, rode the Mobile, got off on Dolphin Street and went up and did our shopping.
Do you remember how much it cost to ride the boats?
It wasn't much, like $1 or something like that. I can't remember exactly how much it cost.
Was there any kind of segregation problems on those boats?
Oh yes, it was. We had a certain place we could go, and it was really segregated through no time.
Mm-hmm.
And we just had a certain place where black people could sit. They couldn't go anywhere. And
What about the beaches? Where did you go to the beach? Where'd y'all go swimming at?
down Fillmore's Beach, we had a cousin named Fillmore, Denton. he had a beach. And that's where we would get with his kids and go on the beach. We couldn't go anywhere else. That was the only place.
What was one of the favorite things that you liked about living here? What's a fond memory that you have?
Well, I liked, well, when they finally got it so we could go to the movie, the downtown Fairhope, you know where that movie place used to be. It was the bus driver, Greyhound bus driver made that possible for us, for the black children to go to the movie.
How did that happen? What did he do to make that possible?
I really don't know what he did, but anyway, he got it so we could go upstairs. He fixed the place upstairs so we could go up and watch the movie Saturday evening. Only time we could do that was on the Saturday evening. For that, you know, we needed something for entertainment. So we would walk up here and go to the movie. And then when we got out the movie, we had to go straight on back to Twin Beach Road. And couldn't do nothing else. If you bought something here in Fairhope, you had to know your size, because you couldn't try it on.
Really?
That was the way it was.
That's the way it was. You know, all that's fading so in the past.
Huh?
All that is fading away.
Yeah,
People don't remember that. They don't know
It's
that.
all going now, but
Well,
that's the way it used to be.
I appreciate you telling me about that. We're coming to the end of this. Is there anything that you would like to say? Anything that you would like to be remembered by? Anything that you're doing now, or you love your grandchildren, or whatever? You know.
I enjoy Fairhope now. I have all my children grown up and gone. Some of them went to school here for a while, but you know, they had built another school. Time for them to go to school, so some of them finished, and they had to go to Baldwin County Training School. One of my daughters, my last daughter, she got to go to Fairhope High. That was the only one, because the others were during the time they hadn't opened a school for blacks here. But my daughter, youngest daughter, could go. She finished here in Fairhope. But all the others finished in Daphne. You had to go to Daphne, Baldwin County Training School. Anyway, I still enjoy being here. I'm still here.
We're good. It's good to be here, isn't
I
it?
got married and moved to Mobile. But in later years, we built our house over here. And that's where I'm still in the same place.
Good.
And I enjoy it. I like working out here, working my flowers. I don't plant now like I used to. Nobody to eat but me. So I don't do that. But I enjoy keeping the yard looking nice. And I got a little dog, and that's my company.
What's his name?
Buddy. Yeah. He sits right down by my rocking chair. And anybody bring the doorbell, he lets me know.
Well, you've told me a great story today.
And great-granddaughter here with her husband. They came to visit.
Good. I'm sure you're enjoying their visit.
Yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed talking to you today.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You have a good day.
This is a test. Testing. 1, 2.
Well, hello. Who are we talking to today?
Talking to Mark Arnold, Mordecai Roberts Arnold.
Tell me what year you were born.
I was born 1924, November 30, 1924, in Tyler, Texas.
You came to Fairhope with your parents. What were your parents' names?
John Hawkins Arnold and Mordecai Roberts Arnold were my parents. Daddy was known as Jack Arnold, and Mama was often known as Morty, or in Mobile pronunciation, Maudie, and Daddy called her Maudie. We moved to Fairhope in 1931 when I was 6 years old. We came to Fairhope
because Mama had gone to school at Daphne Normal School and had gotten her teacher's certificate there. And while she was studying at Daphne, in Daphne Normal School, she became very much interested in the organic school. And so when she had an opportunity to locate in Fairhope, she wanted to come to Fairhope specifically so that she could get her children into the organic school. And so all 8 of her children, my 7 brothers and sisters and I, all went to school at organic. I graduated from organic in 1943.
And kind of rattle off your brothers and sisters.
Claude was the first child. Claude was born in 1918. Sue, whose actual name was Jacqueline, but we all called her Sue. She didn't have a name, Sue, not Susan. That actually came from Claude's pronunciation of Suster, and Suster became Sue, and became Sue, and she was the second child, born in 1920. Claude and Sue both born in Flint, Michigan. Pat was the next one. He was born in Tyler, Texas in 1922. I was born in Tyler, Texas in 1924. Sister Grace was born in Tyler, Texas in 1926. And then we moved to Alabama in 1929 and lived first up there at on Highway 225 up near Dennis Creek, and moved to Fairhope in the summer of 1931, and started school at organic in 31.
Tell me what it was like going to school, to organic school.
It was, I'm certain, without a doubt, the most formative experience of my life, and of any of us who went to school at organic. The organic school was a place where the whole philosophy of Mrs. Johnson, Marietta Johnson, who formed the school in 1907, was that living is learning and learning is living. And she said that a child is going to learn and wants to learn. And the mission of the school should be to encourage the child to learn and facilitate the child learning, but not to militate the child learning.
Do you remember Marietta Johnson?
Oh, I remember Marietta Johnson very fondly. She was on the campus for my first 8 years in the school, and then she died in 1938 when I was in junior high school.
Did she ever spank children?
I have, but Mrs. Johnson didn't.
Mm-hmm. Someone asked me about that, and I said, I don't think so.
I don't think Mrs. Johnson, not in the time I knew her, she didn't. Now, if she ever did, it may have been when she was at the public school system in St. Paul and Minneapolis, before she came to Fairhope.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Johnson thought that we should be able to guide a child to the extent that a child wouldn't need a spanking.
Yeah.
That we control. Now, I did in one instance in the 1990s, when I was director of the organic school, do what someone might classify as spanking a child.
Well, that's understandable. Well, you know, Mark, let me interrupt here. This 6 minutes isn't going to be very long. I want to go back to what it was like to grow up in Fairhope. I want you to tell me how you enjoyed growing up in Fairhope.
I'll tell you how I enjoyed Fairhope. I enjoyed growing up in Fairhope so much that when I graduated from high school and joined the Marine Corps, my daddy said he was forever grateful to the Marine Corps because they saved him from having to put the first pair of shoes on me. And so what I'm saying there is that Fairhope was a place where I could go barefoot until I was 18 years old and joined the Marine Corps.
Well, that's nice.
And everything else that goes with living barefoot, the freedom of being barefoot was the life freedom that we enjoyed here in Fairhope.
What about swimming in the bay?
Constantly lived in the bay.
Uh-huh.
The bay was clear in those days, and we could see the bottom out to 4, 5, 6 feet deep. And we lived in the bay. We could go out to the end of the Fairhope Pier, which was a wooden pier at that time, go down into the water and gig sheephead because we could see them with our naked eye down 5 and 6 feet deep down in the water, and we could see the